up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent and no shows over the weekend, anything like that. I know I did go 2-1 yesterday, and I believe the day before, I think I had a winning day, whatever it was. I had a winning day, winning weekend, so that was all good. It's good to be back with you, Veno. How you been? How's everything been for you?
We've been good, buddy. Yesterday was not as good for me, although where our work is over at Wagertalk, they grade your NFL futures after last night's results and did fairly well on the futures, 2-1. I probably should have been 3-0 in those futures if Jonathan Taylor didn't drop the football before he crossed the end zone in Denver a few weeks back. Cost them the ninth win. I had them over 8.5 wins. But we got a
Yeah,
couple
that's
winners
tough.
there. Detroit to win the NFC North, which they came through last night and did, and the Seahawks over their win total. So it was a good Friday, a decent Saturday, and a little below average Sunday. We'll look to get it right tonight with these NBA games.
Yeah, we got a lot to look at, a lot of different ones. Eastside in the building, a lot of people in the building. D'Angelo cool, man. What do you say? I might swerve in that corner. Whoa, whoa. I'll rock with the Leangelo. Got the old cash money kind of feel to it. Addicted lawyer says, "What ethnicity is Ski?" What do you think, addicted lawyer? Let me get your guess. Tasha, Miss Tasha in the building. All right, let's get to it, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing, man.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay.
First game we have Portland and Detroit. It opened up Detroit -6. Looks like 6.5. Total open 226.5 and it's down to still dropping. I feel like it's in the past couple minutes it continues to drop. I see it as low as 223.5. And maybe that means something's happening with the injury report, but I honestly don't see anything. Thompson has been at it. Um, he's game times. No Ivy. We know he'll be out for a while. For Portland, DeAndre Ayton is probable. There will be no Jeremy Grant. And then Matisse Thybulle is out. So Rob, this one is pretty simple, pretty straightforward for me. No Ivy. I mean, even when Ivy was there, we know who the guy is, but no Ivy. It's just so much responsibility for Cade. Whether he has to score, he has to play make for everybody. He's in there rebounding too. I took his PRA over 41.5, and he's played 5 games this season without Ivy. He hit this number in every single one except for the one he was in foul trouble. He only played 29 minutes. So as long as he stays out of foul trouble, I think we have a very good chance of hitting versus Blazers team. Is there anything you're looking at in Blazers and Pistons?
Yeah, I think that the Pistons are starting to become a little bit heavy price wise, Ski. I did look at Portland plus the price here. Chauncey Billups back in Detroit. You'd expect his team to be ready to go. Played actually really well the other day against Milwaukee, but Detroit's playing extremely well, and that's why the price tag keeps going up on them. As you mentioned, Cade Cunningham definitely leading the way there. The one fundamental matchup here that would be a little bit scary is the Detroit rebounding against the Portland rebounding. Portland's a bottom tier rebounding team, and maybe Detroit gets a lot of second chances here. We'll have to see. But I thought 6.5 just looked to be a little bit too much for two teams that, in my estimation, personnel-wise, aren't that different, but certainly record-wise they are, because I looked up this morning, and Detroit is a play-in team, which is kind of surprising, but they're on that long win streak right now. We'll see if they can start to cover this type of numbers, Ski. I'm not so sure they can. I left it alone, but if I was going to sit around and just play a couple of bucks, I'd probably be on Portland plus the 6.5.
I'm not mad at that. Carry on says Kamara over 5.5 rebounds, cash cow. And I do keep seeing this mentioned in the chat. Um, I, I think that could be a solid play for this one. What up, Dia? Mark in the building as well. A lot of people tapping in. Appreciate y'all. Let's keep going down the list. We have Phoenix and 76ers up next. Didn't really move. I mean, I guess a half a point, open 3.5. I see mostly threes for the Sixers as a favorite. The total, though, has dropped about 4.5 points down to 222. Royce O'Neal is out for the Suns. And then on the Sixers side, Oubre, Lowry, and Embiid look like they're all game time decision. Um, I'm gonna pass this one to you first here, Rob. This is your neck of the woods over there in Philly. They're kind of inconsistent to me. What do you think you'll get out of them tonight?
The Embiid question mark is the only thing that holds me back. Actually, I had to do a real early morning video on this game, and I would prefer the Philadelphia side here. I'll just start right here, Skee, because how I like to go to these quotes when I think when you can apply them. And I'll give you what Devin Booker said after they lost to Indiana the other night. They gave up 70 points in the second half after being tied at halftime. Here's Devin Booker. The vibes are low, man. We just have to keep fighting. It's a blessing to even be in this position, but our output is super ugly right now. We continue to build. Hopefully later in the season, these moments right here are out the way, got past them, but right now we're in the thick of it. Doesn't sound like a team that's coming out of it anytime soon, and especially since Durant, Beal, and Booker have been together for the past couple of weeks for the most part. On the other hand, Paul George for Philly, he said the injuries haven't been on our side, but I think we're gelling. We're starting to enjoy each other out on the floor. The stuff off the court starting to trickle on the court, and that's a great sign. And, I'm always a proponent of teams that like each other. I like to bet on pretty cohesive on the floor. And I'll say they just got off a 6-game road trip, and it was a weird road trip, right? It started in Boston on Christmas Day. Then it went west. Then it came all the way back to Brooklyn to finish. And Philly, prior to that last game against the Nets, they had come off a game against Sacramento that they were in control of till there were about 3 minutes left in the game. I think Sacramento went on a 13-0 run. You and I talked about it the other day. They probably should have won that game. And then they just got shot out of the building the next night by Steph Curry. 8 for 8 on threes. They scored 139. So then they come back, and you would think that cross-country travel after those two losses might have a little effect on their mindset, but they went out, they won by 29 points. And better than that, they won every single quarter. They won the first, the second, the third, and the fourth, which showed me a little something. I like the direction Philly's going right now. I don't like the direction Phoenix is going. And I would say this, if you're looking at total, I know the injuries have everything to do with the push downward, but Phoenix has really been an under team. 8-1 to the under last 9 games. Just can't get it right offensively. I like Philly. I'd rather wait and see if Embiid's going to play. Of course, you're going to pay a price at that point in time. But I think Philadelphia is the right side.
I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of thinking the other way. I mean, you're saying we like the way Philly is the direction Philly is headed because what, they won 1 game? They beat the Nets with nobody. I mean, they were just getting beat on before that, weren't they?
I'm using the entire 6-game road trip. They go 4-2, 3-2-1 against the spread. They go 4-2. They beat Boston on Christmas Day. Then they went out west, and potentially they could have been 5-1. Probably should have been 5-1 on the road trip, Skee, because they had Sacramento beat that night. And as fate would have
Paul George, Pandemic P,
or
whatever.
Doug Christie's team was fired up. And then Steph came out of nowhere because Golden State hadn't been scoring any points until that night. So I like what they did out west to go 4-2 straight up. It seems like when they're together, they're looking a little better right now. But the other side just looks horrendous. So I don't want to be on Phoenix. It could be as much a fade of Phoenix as it is a play on Philly, but I think it's a combination of both for me.
I'm still going to give some pushback here. I'm with Casey on this. Says Suns lineup change going to be good. Dunn going to shut down PG. All right, so here's a few things, Rob, about the way Phoenix has been playing. They've been missing Devin Booker, right? So, I mean, when you have Booker or KD out, it's going to affect how the team is playing. Booker comes back, he's rusty. I mean, just like we've seen from some other players too. They miss a couple games or miss some time, come back, they're not shooting very well. I think he can get a little bit more right today. I don't trust the 76ers defense at all. And the one thing that has been, I can count on, Phoenix defense has been better. And adding in Dunn into the starting lineup, that's gonna continue to make Phoenix defense better. I like having Bradley Beal and Nurkic come off the bench for this team. I think that's better for them. So I think Phoenix is making the changes, and Phoenix will start to trend in the right direction. Does that mean Philly will not also? I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not ready to lay points with Philly too often. I did the other day, um, in that game versus the Nets, but versus a Phoenix team who's also hungry to win, a Phoenix team that I think is better than Philadelphia. Phoenix has been playing better defense. They've been the better rebounding team lately, at least last 5 games. I might be head to head here. I didn't lock it in yet, but that was my thought. Anything else before we move to the next game?
Yeah, the other thing, real quick, Ski, in that would be anti-Philadelphia is generally speaking, teams off really long road trips, we don't like to play them in their first game back home, right? Philly comes off a 6 game and now they're back home first game. But you could say Brooklyn's like 50 miles away from Philadelphia, 90 miles. It's not that far away, but still, it's a 6-game road trip where you're in your first game back home. So that generally we don't like to play on. Again, you got to wait on Embiid. If you don't have Embiid here, well, I guess it's the same thing if you like Phoenix, right? If you like Phoenix, you better take them now, because if Embiid gets ruled out, you're going to wind up being a favorite in this game, Phoenix. So, as always with the NBA, we have to be a little proactive. We'll see how this goes.
All right, let's keep going to the next one. Knicks and Magic. This one opened up -10.5 for New York, up to -12, and the total opened 209. Looks like 210 is the consensus currently. Injuries. I mean, this Magic team is missing a hell of a lot. Anthony Black is game time. I see Banchero. Okay, he's still doubtful. He's not going to play. So, no Banchero, no Gary Harris, no Jalen Suggs, no Franz Wagner. Magic just, I mean, who do they have left? That's kind of what it is for me. I don't trust anybody over there to score. The Knicks, I feel like they've been a team that's been a little bit inconsistent defensively, but just how bad this Magic team is, I would either look towards Magic team total under or just an under, because I still trust the Magic to play defense. You have Brunson game time, Towns game time, McBride game time, and that could be a lot of offense missing as well for the Knicks. How do you view this one, Veno?
Same way. In Orlando, just to rattle these numbers off, Ski, with all these injuries, last 7 games, 88 points, 85 points, 102, 96, 106, and 92. Get beat by Utah by 13. They can't score. It's obvious why. They don't have anybody on the floor that can score, so there's nobody on the floor for New York to defend. But if you have all those players out for New York, that's an awful lot of offense from them, which would immediately push you toward under. I don't see why it wouldn't. Orlando plays super slow at this point in time and really good defense. And the Knicks play super slow. Numbers at 210. Honestly, the Knicks could win this game with like 106. And if you're putting it in that vicinity, let's say 106.98, 106.97, if Orlando can get that high, it's still way under the numbers. So that's the only way I could look here. I don't want to lay that many points with the Knicks, but under looks like a pretty solid position to take.
Yeah, I agree with that. Steph says, Skee, how many units are you up so far? I don't look at my thing every day. I started off the NBA season bad, and I know I've been doing a lot better lately. And I know 2024, I was up. 2023, I was up. 2025 overall, so far, I'm up. So I don't know. If you don't like what I'm saying, then bet the other side. It doesn't matter to me. Next game, we have Bucks and Raptors. Bucks opened as a 7-point favorite. I still see the odds screen lighting up. It's 7.5 pretty much everywhere now. Total went from 227 to 230. Injury report. Middleton game time decision, but it looks like he's probable. Same can be said for Giannis. Jackson is game time decision. For the Raptors, RJ still trying to come back from that illness. He's still game time decision. Veno, this is a Bucks team that they haven't been playing their best basketball lately. I believe they've lost 4 of their last 5 games. The last 2, pretty embarrassing losses as double-digit favorites. Do you trust them to get back on track here, versus the Raptors, or how are you looking at this one?
Well, first thing is I think you want RJ Barrett in the lineup for Toronto. It showed up the other night. I think we had Toronto the last time I was on with you, Skee, and mentioned Emmanuel quickly coming back, which would speed up Toronto even more. They're a fast-paced team anyway, and their scoring should be up. But without Barrett, they didn't play a good game that particular night. Man, I don't know what you're going to get out of Milwaukee. They win that trophy.
Middleton just got
And
rolled out, by the way.
well, I don't know. With Milwaukee, I don't even know if that's a hindrance or a hell. I don't know what it is. I would say this: when they won that trophy, it looked like they were coming around to playing a lot of defense again, like they were becoming a good defensive group. And then that stuff kind of goes out the window. 111, 116, 112, 113, 111 and 113 to Brooklyn, which you should not allow. You lose twice to Brooklyn, you lose to Portland. It makes no sense. They're so up and down that it makes it hard to handicap them. When you ask, do you think they could start to turn it around? I think with them, it's all guesswork at this point in time. I don't know that anybody thought they would turn it around prior to that cup. But then once they got deeper into the cup, you could see that they were aiming for something. I don't know what they're aiming for right now, to tell you the truth. They're just aimlessly wandering through the season. I don't like them here. I think I would like over if I got RJ Barrett. Milwaukee's defense to me has gone a little bit south, and we know Toronto doesn't play any. So 229, 230, pretty doable, especially if you have Barrett and with Toronto at home. So again, we'll sit on this injury report for a little bit and maybe get to the over in that game.
Line did drop back down. Looks like 7. I mean, eye screen is still lit up, but I'm seeing 7's looking like the consensus right now. No Middleton. Casey says maybe more defense. A couple people saying, they're liking Dame now, especially. Justin says he's getting top scorer plus 300. That could be something. I mean, the Raptors haven't been good defending above the break 3, and we know that's where Dame will thrive. And also on the season, Raptors haven't been good, protecting the paint. That's where Giannis can thrive. So I still think even without Middleton, this Bucks team can get the job done. It's just the Raptors, they've been playing pretty bad. And I don't see a turnaround tonight. I think after a couple of lackluster performances for Milwaukee, they come with that focus tonight, and they get a big double-digit win. Next game up, we have Pacers and Nets. This one opened up Pacers -8. They're up to -10. Total went from 222.5. Or actually, no, total didn't move. As far as injuries are concerned, Neesmith is out for the Pacers. Brooklyn, man, if everybody was healthy, I'm running to the window to bet over, Rob. But Russell's game time, Ben Simmons game time. No Bogdanovich, no Cam Johnson, no Cam Thomas. I mean, I'm not betting over with that right there. It has to be Pacers or pass. Last I was looking at it, I mean, the number was a little bit shorter. I know 11 of the last 14 wins by the Pacers have been by 9+, but it's just, I know Pacers haven't been the best defensively, but it's not really anybody I can trust for the Nets, especially if Russell's missing. So I'll lean Pacers. How do you feel about it, Veno?
Well, I've been having a lot of success with Indiana, just individual team total at this point in time. They're back to scoring points. Number here was 116.5. The part that scared me a little bit is Brooklyn is so slow. But Indiana's back to being able to impose their will offensively against other teams. And you go back about 19, 20 games, Skee, they're just scoring 126 the other night against Phoenix. We talked about 70 in the second half, 128 against Miami, 123 against Boston. Like I say, the only part that scares me is if Indiana enters this thing kind of lackadaisical because it's not much of a challenge against an injured Nets team. And if the Nets are capable of slowing that pace for, let's say, I don't know, 24, half the game, 24, 48 minutes, maybe Indiana doesn't get there. Maybe 116.5 is too tall a number to climb. But the way they've been putting it in the basket lately, I'm not sure it is too big to climb here. So if I look, it's going to be Indiana team total, never mind full game total, just zero in on Indiana team total over 116.5 because they've been putting it in the basket quite a bit lately.
Carry on is right with you in the chat. He likes that team total, and I mean, this is one where I could understand just cutting Brooklyn out of it. Just being on that Pacers side. That could very well be the way to go. Um, we'll keep going down the list. I know we're kind of up against it time wise, so I'll try to. We'll see. We'll see what we get through. We might not get through everything. Dallas and Memphis. I know Kyrie and Luca are both out for this game. They haven't covered a game without those guys all season. Memphis, they've been really good in general, really good at home, good as a favorite. I have to think it's Memphis here, but even more so, I think they come out and throw the first punch like they always have. At home, I'll get the updated numbers, but I'm pretty sure it was something like 19-6 in the first half as a favorite, and then like a little bit less good than that at home. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I kind of think the same way, Ski, but I put it on Memphis first half team total. I think they averaged like about almost 63 points a game in the first half. And here they're asked to get 60.5. So we need 61 to win this thing, but they just seem to get out of the gate so fast against everybody. And I don't know. I mean, I do get the fact we talk about it often. Dallas has a couple of rim defenders, and Memphis does like to get to the rim, but I just think they're going to overpower Dallas at the rim. Too fast paced. When Dallas can get into the half court defensively, I think they're better at guarding the rim than in the open court. So for me, I think I would just continue playing what's worked. As we say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that would be Memphis team total first half over the number here, which is 60.5. I think they can get there.
Yeah, I think that's a solid play as well. Casey thinks the first quarter team total is also worth a
That's
look.
true too.
Mark says first half full game for Memphis, so everybody's liking Memphis in this game. It looks like. Um, and Esai says he likes Dallas tomorrow more if Kyrie comes back. Oh, you don't got to worry, Esai. You can bet that early if you like Dallas. Kyrie's gonna play. Everybody plays versus the Lakers. They could miss 10 straight games. They see the Lakers on the schedule. They get they're in the lineup. So that's just how it goes. Next game, Clippers and Wolves opened up. Well, spread hasn't really moved. It's sitting right there. Total moved about a point up to 214.5. And then if we look at injuries for these teams, I mean, most of the main guys all playing here. At one point, both of these teams were playing elite defense. They played a couple times this season. I don't think either game got to 190. Um, Defense kind of fell off a little bit lately, but they're still capable. Do you think they can stay under that 214.5 tonight, Rob?
I trust the Clippers, but I don't trust Minnesota right now. Anthony Edwards walks out of the post-game conference the other night, won't talk to anybody. He was so PO'd at that performance, losing to Detroit by 14. Cade gets 40. Their last their last 5 games, they haven't given up less than 110. And that's after, again, we're rehashing some old stuff here, but they have that meeting. They come out, they play really good defense, and it's just gone by the wayside. It's deteriorated here. If I go back even deeper than the last 5 games, I'm looking at 8 of 9. 8 of their last 9, they've given up 110 plus. LA gets a big boost the other night when Kawhi comes back. Not that he shot it very, extremely well, but he shot it well enough, and it just gets them more depth to what's already a good team, a team that's got some defensive length, a team that's got a bunch of scoring. I think I have to be on the Clippers here, plus the 2. Watch that Clippers game the other night, and it just looks like there's a little bit of, I don't want to call it rejuvenation because I don't think the Clippers are ever down on themselves, but I think they understand right now that they can climb the Western Conference ladder a little bit here now that they're pretty healthy. So for me, it's probably the Clippers plus 2. Just can't, with Ant scoring 53 and getting that frustrated, walking right out of the building, I just don't know where to go with that team.
I'll say this: if I don't like seeing carry on. He's saying he likes Randall under 27.5 points and rebounds. I was thinking about betting his rebounds plus assists. That's been pretty consistent, especially the way he's playing with that second unit. So if I'm betting any kind of over, that's where it would be Randall over rebounds and assists. But other than that, I kind of like the under in the game. I think we might be okay, Veno. We might be able to get through a quick two more, especially since I don't really have anything on Spurs in Chicago. If I have to pick, I think the Spurs. I agree with the market. Um, Wemby's just been on a tear, probably just his points even. Anything from you on Spurs and Bulls?
Yeah, I agree with Spurs. I actually did this game for Wager Talk this morning as well. It's not often that you see them three on the road, but they're just a different team right now. And I think one of the key matchups here, Skee, real quick, is Wemby against Vucevic. We know that Billy Donovan likes to use Vucevic as a lot of times the focal point of the offense, whether it be passing out of the pivot, whether it be shooting threes, whatever. Vucevic is a big deal. And seeing Jokic in the post-game interview after either game one or game two of those back-to-backs, and we know Wemby's a tough guy to be able to shoot over, but Jokic said this guy's tough defensively. I think it's a bad matchup for Vucevic. And if you're not going to cut him out of the offense entirely, scoring, assists, rebounds, but if you can contain him a little bit, Chicago's a little banged up. No Ayo Dosunmu, no Torrey Craig. They're not as deep as San Antonio. I thought what San Antonio did in those two games against Denver was pretty impressive. They held Denver to 110 at home. Then on the road in that second game, in regulation, Denver only got 108. Shot 43% in both games. And if I'm comparing styles, Denver and Chicago are much alike. Number 2 tempo in the league, number 5 tempo in the league. So San Antonio showed that they have the ability to, right now, at least contain these tempo-type teams. And Chicago's off a huge win. It was Derrick Rose night the other night. The building was electric. I don't know that same effort exists here. So I think San Antonio's the right side, -3.
All right, last game for today. Heat and Kings. Kings did open 2.5. I see him as high as 4 right now. Total keeps coming down from 224.5 as low as 221. We do have De'Aaron Fox on the injury report, game time decision. Highsmith looks like he's game time as well for Miami, and we know no Jimmy Butler for them. They got blown out last game by like 30. The Kings won their last game by like 30. I just kind of feel like the Kings, after a blowout win, would be a little more complacent than the Heat off of the blowout loss. So I'd rather go with the more hungry team in my mind, catching points. And I'm not a fan of Sacramento at all. Just the makeup of this team right now. Anything about them, I don't like it. So Heat +3 or +4 is a lean for me. Do you disagree?
You can add to Miami, Ski. There's a little bit of a rest advantage, right? You go to Golden State last night, you play back-to-backs here, come home as a favorite. That's probably works against Sacramento. And I would kind of agree with you that was embarrassing for give up 136 to Utah, lose by, I think it was 136 to 100. And so now you get out of your home city and go. Sometimes the road is a better place. I would lean a little bit towards Miami in this game plus the points. It's a scary lean because I do think that there's enthusiasm on the Sacramento sidelines, whether or not they're a team that's built to win personnel-wise. They're getting by on sheer enthusiasm right now with the head coach, Doug Christie. So that would be a little bit of a concern. But I think if I had to, I would lean Miami. Perhaps you could lean under in this game as well. I think Sacramento shot it really, really well 2 nights in a row. They've made 43s in their last 2 games. And I don't know that they're going to shoot 23s against Miami tonight. So probably look a little bit under and toward the Miami side.
All right, good stuff. Well, moving on over to best bets. Before I ask you for one, I always like to, check is there anything you would like to promote? And if you have a best bet for the show, we would love to hear it. But if you don't, that is also okay.
Really quick, wagertalk.com, guys. If you're currently not members, just shoot over there and put your email address in and get instant access to all the videos, all the written content that we do. You can get it absolutely free. If you're interested in selection packages, the link is in Skee's description of the show. You can get all my work over there at wagertalk.com. It's been on a good roll since December 1st. I won't go into the numbers again. I will leave you with this, though, Skee. I think I've had success, so I won't back off the success with Indiana's team total. Just think 116.5 is a reasonable number for that team. They don't really care much about anything other than pace and scoring. And I don't know that Brooklyn can slow them down enough, no matter who's on the floor. So 116.5 seems like a doable number here. I'm going to use that as the best bet for the show. Indiana team total over 116.5.
All right, good stuff from Veno. You can also find my work at wagertalk.com, and the link to my profile is also in the description to the video. My best bet for the show, I'll go back to the first game we talked about. Cade over 41.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Just so much responsibility for him to score, to get others involved. And they're playing a Blazers team that's not, anything to be scared of defensively. So he's hit it every game except for one without Ivy this season. And the one he didn't, he only played 29 minutes with foul trouble. So best bet for the show, Cade over 41.5 PRA. Veno, I appreciate you taking the time to come break the games down with us. Always good talking to you and in general and chopping up the games. You're more than welcome to come back whenever you want this week. The chat, I appreciate you all as well. A lot of great people and great cappers. And we all help each other win. So I always want to let you know you're appreciated. Best of luck if you tell. I will be on 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Dutch, Babano, and Wham Bam to talk NBA a little bit more. So I'll catch you guys over there, or I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.